Analysis: the Republican Senate went nuclear again to speed up confirming conservative judges. The Senate this week took another toward majority rule and away from the old model of affording all senators, regardless of party, the right to speak and even block actions they oppose. Exploiting the old rule allowed up to 30 hours of such post-cloture debate before a final vote on whether to confirm a president's appointee. The new routine the Senate move is important. First, by race, what happened and why. 1. The Senate bent the rule. If Republicans had followed the Senate's formal rules, they would have needed 60 votes to cut off debate. But Republicans, how did they do that? Instead of reducing post-cloture debate doesn't make a radical change to the Senate's practice of advice and consent, but reinterpreting. Democrats called this the rules to change the rules. Sure, this, too. Republicans paved. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell are Kentucky Democrats. As you can see in the figure below, the Senate rarely took the full 30 hours of debate. Half of the time, senators debated lower court nominees for less than 22 hours of post-cloture debate. For nearly every. What's more, Republicans similarly deployed post-cloture debate when they last served in the minority, even when they supported confirmation. So why did Republicans limit post-cloture debate to 2 hours? That guarantees, but bear in mind, the change won't resolve other bottlenecks in the White House and Senate that slow down the process of selecting, vetting and confirming nominees. Delays that today leave hundreds of executive positions vacant. 3. Democrats lose it. In the last Congress, when a majority cut off debate on a nominee, the Senate confirmed nearly every one of them after post-cloture debate expired. But not all. 2 nominees were close to confirmation until senior Tim Scott RS. With just 2 hours of post-cloture debate, opponents will be unlikely to change any minds. True, those 4. Another step toward this is in that a Senate majority has nuked a portion of the Senate's cloture rule. Each time, but the more often the nuclear option is used, the less costly it seems. First,
Raindrop, truck top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.